have you ever seen a ghost? I ask because there is one place on earth where they gather every night. One place where the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. They say if you visit this place, you may just see one for yourself. But be warned, for the spirits that linger here are restless, angry even, and if you awaken one, it will follow you home. For centuries, explorers have ventured into this forbidden zone and some never came back. So today, I am going to lead you on a journey into the afterlife to uncover the truth behind the ghost stories of the Valley of the Kings. The story begins in 1922 when a British archaeologist named Howard Carter stumbled upon the entrance to an unknown tomb in the Valley of the Kings. What happened next would change history forever. As he descended into the darkness, Carter had no idea he was about to break the 3,000-year-old curse of Pharaoh Dejref. But before we continue, let me explain something very important about how ancient Egyptians viewed the world around them. To them, life wasn't a single journey, but rather many journeys strung together. When a person died, their soul would travel to the underworld, a place not of fire and brimstone, but of earthly landscapes. There, they would cross the river Styx and face a series of trials designed to test their purity. If successful, they would be reunited with their body in the afterlife, allowing them to live again in the physical world. This is why the ancient Egyptians took death so seriously. If your soul failed to pass the tests, you were denied rebirth and destined to roam the earth as a spirit forever. As the soul wandered through the underworld, it was guided by a book called the Book of the Dead. It contained everything necessary to navigate the afterlife, including spells, hymns, prayers, and incantations. Over time, the Egyptians kept adding to this book, which explains why the Book of the Dead has over 40 different versions. So now let's get back to Carter's discovery. He had been searching for King Tut's tomb for over a decade, but his efforts had been mocked by colleagues, who claimed the boy king was nothing more than a minor footnote in Egyptian history. Yet Carter pressed on, convinced that Tutankhamun's final resting place still existed somewhere in the Valley of the Kings. On November 6, 1922, armed with nothing but a walking stick, a rope cart, and a flashlight, Carter and his team began digging at the entrance of what would become known as the most infamous tomb in the world. After weeks of back-breaking work, Carter sent a telegram to his friend and financial supporter, Lord Carnarvon, saying, "At last, this is the day. I have made a most sensational find. I am sure of it." That evening, as they chipped away at a stubborn layer of limestone, they heard a crunch that echoed through the silent valley. Their hammers revealed a gap. One by one, the stones were removed, and soon enough, they found themselves staring into the mouth of a new tomb. But Carter knew there was still one final challenge. Before descending into the darkness, he placed a burning candle on the floor to illuminate the stairs ahead. Then, holding his breath, he stepped across the threshold and vanished into the shadows. We don't know what he expected to see, but we do know that he wasn't prepared for what actually lay before him. In the flickering light, Carter saw rows upon rows of coffins carved into the walls, each one containing a secret that had been buried for thousands of years. Suddenly, he felt a cold chill crawl up his spine, as if some unseen presence was watching him. But he pushed on, desperate to uncover the truth. As Carter descended deeper into the tomb, he began to hear strange sounds. At first, it was just the echo of his own breathing, but then he started hearing whispers, disembodied voices that seemed to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. And then there were footsteps, heavy footsteps, that pounded the stone floor like the tread of some monstrous beast. But when Carter turned to look, he saw no one. Suddenly, the air grew cold, and a dark mist began seeping out from the corners of his vision. Then he heard a voice, a deep, guttural voice that seemed to shake the very foundations of the tomb. "Turn back, mortal, for you are not welcome here. This is a place of rest, not of thieving hands." Carter froze in his tracks. Was this just a figment of his imagination? Or was there really something evil lurking in the shadows? He continued down the tunnel and finally emerged into a vast chamber. But what he saw there stole the breath from his lungs. In the center of the room was a massive black granite sarcophagus, adorned with hieroglyphics that seemed to writhe like living things. And around it were scattered the bones of countless mummies, some wrapped in linen, others left bare. The stench of decay hung heavy in the air, mingling with the sweet aroma of incense. As Carter approached the sarcophagus, the whispers grew louder, swirling around him like a vortex. Then he saw it, an inscription carved into the stone that read, "Beware, the Pharaoh is watching." At that moment, Carter felt a cold dread grip his heart as he realized that he had just stumbled upon the tomb of a forgotten pharaoh. And this is where our story truly begins. You see, while exploring the nearby Deir el-Medina, a settlement where many of the workers who built the tombs lived, Carter came across a mysterious It detailed the existence of a secret burial chamber where pharaohs could cheat death itself. Of course, he didn't believe it at first, but something about the papyrus intrigued him. Maybe it was the faded ink or the cryptic symbols that covered it. But whatever it was, Carter couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. He returned to the Valley of the Kings and started digging in a new area. His intuition told him that the burial chamber was close, just beyond his reach. But as weeks turned into months, his hope began to dwindle. Had he been chasing a fool's errand all along? Just when he was about to give up, his shovel hit something hard. With trembling hands, he brushed away the dirt to reveal a small opening. It wasn't much, but Carter knew in his heart that this was the entrance to the secret chamber. As he descended into the darkness, he couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding wash over him. The air grew colder and the whispers seemed to come from the walls themselves. Finally, the tunnel opened up into a vast cavern, illuminated by flickering torches. But what Carter saw there made him gasp in awe. Before him lay a golden sarcophagus, intricately carved with scenes from the pharaoh's life. But it was the inscription on the lid that really caught his attention. It read, "Here lies the great pharaoh Akhenaton, who lived forever." Could this be the legendary pharaoh who had supposedly cheated death? Carter reached out to touch the sarcophagus, and in that instant, the torches flickered and went out, plunging the chamber into darkness. Suddenly, he felt a cold hand grip his shoulder, and a voice whispered in his ear, "You should not have come here, mortal. Now you shall join us in death." Carter screamed, turning to face the darkness, but there was nothing there. Panic seized him as he stumbled around the tomb, desperately trying to find the exit. But it was no use. He was trapped. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the terror ended. The torches flickered back to life, revealing the sarcophagus once again. But when Carter approached it, he found that the inscription had changed. It now read, "Here lies the great Pharaoh Carter, who dared to disturb the eternal slumber of Akhenaton." With shaking hands, Carter touched the sarcophagus, and in that instant, he vanished, becoming another victim of the curse of the pharaohs. The tale doesn't end there, however. In the years since Carter's disappearance, explorers have braved the Valley of the Kings, seeking to uncover its secrets and perhaps find Carter's lost soul. Many have returned with tales of eerie phenomena, from disembodied voices to shadowy figures lurking at the edge of their vision. Some have even claimed to have seen Carter's ghost wandering the tunnels, forever searching for a way out. In the end, we may never know what truly happened to Carter or the other explorers who vanished within the Valley of the Kings. But one thing is certain: the allure of the unknown will continue to draw us to this forbidden zone, where the line between the living and the dead is at its thinnest and the restless spirits of the afterlife linger just beyond our sight. Now, please take a moment to watch one of these videos, which are recommended for you. and thank you for spending this special time with us.